Hi, it's Andy here at Photech Video, and in today's video I'm going to be geeking out a little over this Ordro EP7 head-mounted POV FPV behind the scenes camera. This little camera shoots at 4K 60 frames per second, and this camera is all about allowing you to be able to shoot video exactly as you are seeing it and completely hands-free. I'll walk you through what it does, how it feels to use it, what's awesome about it, and what is not so awesome, as well as showing you some example footage shot on this tiny little head-mounted camera. Well, first of all, I must say that this video is not sponsored. I bought this little head-mounted camera with my own money because I wanted to use it for my behind-the-scenes photo shoots. However, if my friends at Ordro are watching this video, I would love to do an honest review on the Ordro M5, which is a 3-axis gimbal-mounted mini 4K camera, which is a bit similar to the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So my friends at Ordro, please drop me an email or a DM, and let's see if we can make that review happen. I will leave an affiliate link to the Ordro EP7 in the description section down below. So what is the EP7 all about? Well, it's a tiny camera sitting by your temple, capturing footage from your own point of view. So it has this adjustable head mount, a bit like the old headphones which we used to use on our Walkman. It has a built-in 2-axis gimbal to give a more stabilized image. It runs on a Sony 1/3-inch 13-megapixel sensor and streams directly to your phone over Wi-Fi using the OD Cam app, which allows you to see your footage as it's being shot, allowing you to manage that footage and also to manage the settings on the camera. Pretty neat, right? But there is more. This little camera shoots at 4K 60 frames per second, as well as a number of other lower frame rates. What I'm interested in is the 4K at 30 and 60 frames per second. Okay, so this is what came in the box. There are different kits, but I just bought this one which has the headband, the camera, the USB cable, which is a micro USB cable. It's not a USB-C. And this little tool which helps us to be able to attach the headband. So let's just take it off now and have a look. So I'm going to take off this rubber protector which covers the earpiece, and then I'm going to take the tool and insert the tool there, and that will just help me to turn this and take it off. So just unscrew it, and there we go, it's come off. And we can see that we have a 1/4-inch screw thread on the bottom, which means that we can attach it to a tripod. If I just reach over here and take out this mini tripod here, we can see then, let's just screw that in, and there we have the camera on a mini tripod. So let's have a walk around the camera. The first thing we have here is the power button. Remember, the power button also doubles as the Wi-Fi button, so you turn on the power and then you press the power button again to turn on the Wi-Fi. This button here is for still images, and this button here is for video. Very simple, and they have a very nice feel to them. They have a rubbery cover here, and when you press the button you can actually feel that it clicks in and clicks out. When we turn it on the side, we see that the light comes on, and if we press the button again to turn on the Wi-Fi, we can see that it's now also flashing blue, looking for a Wi-Fi signal. If we have a look at the bottom of the camera, we can see the certification that it has, and we can also see the 2 flaps for the USB micro cable, which is here. Again, it's a rubber flap, and for the SD card, which is here. And as I said before, the SD card which I'm using is a 256 gig SD card, and it's working absolutely fine. And then if we look at the far end, we have a rubber flap here which says HD, and this is for a micro HDMI card, so we can connect this to our television or our monitor. We can see that as I move the camera, the gimbal is making the lens float. So that will help to give better stabilization in our footage. As I say, this is a 2-axis gimbal, not a 3-axis gimbal. But from what I'm seeing, it's doing a pretty good job here. We'll be able to see better the effect of this gimbal when we go outside and shoot some footage. So there you go. This is exactly what came in the box, and then it all fits into this little pouch, which is very comfortable to be able to take. And it has a drawstring, you can just close it, and there we go. So here are the cool specs related to this camera. So as I said before, it has a Sony 13 megapixel 1/3 inch sensor with a 90-degree wide-angle lens, which has a fixed aperture of f2.2. Focusing is from 10 centimeters to infinity, and you get a pretty natural field of view and first-person view. So the video resolutions are 4K at 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second. It also shoots in 2.7K, full HD, which is 1080p, and also in HD, which is 720p. In that 720p, you can also do slow motion up to 120 frames per second. However, I think the quality would probably be better if you were to take 4K at 60 and slow it down from there. You can also capture JPEGs up to 20 megapixels. So I assume that those 20 megapixels must be interpolated, as this is a 13 megapixel sensor. And you can also shoot JPEG still images at lower resolutions like 14 megapixels, 10, 8, 5, 2, and right down to 1 megapixel. So as I said before, we have this slow motion, which is at 720p, 120 frames per second. So that's 4 times slower speed. The app also offers the hyperlapse function, and you get interval options from 1 second all the way up to 1 minute, with video durations like 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, and even 60 minutes. The battery life is pretty good. It has a built-in 1000 milliamp hour lithium polymer battery, and you're looking at about 100 minutes shooting in 4K or 2.7K, which can be extended up to about 170 minutes if you're shooting in 1080p. And yes, you can record whilst charging, which means that you could put a small power bank in your pocket and a lead from the camera to that power bank to be able to power it for a longer period of time. Now, build-wise, it seems to be pretty well made. It's all plastic and rubber. It is extremely light, and the camera itself only weighs 55 grams. Apparently it's rated at IP65, which means it's splash resistant, but don't try going underwater with it. So let's look for a moment at the storage and connectivity. The camera records to a micro SD card up to 256 gigas. And I know that's true because I have a 256 giga card in the camera right now. It connects to your mobile phone over Wi-Fi using the OD Cam app, which really is very complete. However, I did have issues at some times with the signal. I'd be testing it and suddenly I'd lose the Wi-Fi. So I think it depends on where you are really. And with the OD Cam app, you have live preview, so you can literally see what you're recording. You can also use it as a remote control. You can tweak the settings on the camera. You can see the files which are on the camera, and you can also download those files to your mobile device. And there's even trimming and editing of your footage, all in the OD Cam app. So, how was it to use? Well, to be honest, it was pretty easy. All you need to do is pop in your SD card, make sure that the battery is charged, power it up with the power button, press the power button again, which will turn on the Wi-Fi, connect the Wi-Fi to your mobile phone or device, open the OD Cam app, and you're seeing live view. That's great for when you're teaching or cooking or doing any close-up work, because you can see exactly what your camera can see on your live view. You've got basic buttons on the unit itself. You have the power on button, which doubles as the Wi-Fi on button. Then the button in the middle is for taking still images, and the button near the front is for turning on and turning off the video function. The OD Cam app also has those camera and video controls, plus it also gives you access to functions like slow motion and time-lapse, loop recording, your EV adjustments, video resolutions, timestamps, and more. It is very user-friendly. I must be honest and say I haven't tried to use the Ordro EP7 for long video recordings, so I really don't know whether it overheats or not. What I can tell you is that here there is a little speaker. It's also where we attach the headband, and there is a 1/4 inch screw thread there as well. Then we have this little piece of rubber which just covers over the speaker, and when we turn our camera on, we can hear the status of the camera. If I press the video record button, we can hear there. Start recording and stop recording. And then if I take a still photo, so we can know at any time what the status is of our camera, what's happening, even though we can't see, even though we're not looking at our app, we can still hear what's going on. Okay, so let's take a look at some sample footage shot on the EP7 and also some audio. So let me just clarify first of all, the only sample footage which I've done is 4K at 30 frames per second, because it really depends on the resolution that you have in your settings for this particular YouTube video at the moment that you're watching. And as I upload my videos in 4K, and if you put your settings to 4K in YouTube, then you'll be able to see the real quality of this camera. Also, the audio captured is unadulterated, unedited, unprocessed audio. So the video footage is straight out of camera with no processing, and the audio is also straight out of camera with no processing. I think that is the only fair way to be able to demonstrate to you what this camera is capable of doing. Okay, so here I am outside, and I have my Ordro EP7 connected, and it's also connected to the app which is called the OD Cam app. And as you can see, I can monitor on my mobile phone exactly what the camera is seeing. Okay, so I'm recording here in 4K and at 30 frames per second, and several of the things that I'm looking for is, number one, to be able to read signs, to be able to read registration numbers on cars, and also the colors which I'm getting straight out of camera, as well as the audio. Now, as you can hear around me, there is a lot of noise. The sample footage which I include is going to have the audio exactly as it was recorded. I'm not going to increase the volume, I'm not going to do any noise cancellation, just exactly as it was recorded. So one of the reasons that I bought this camera is because I want to use it for behind the scenes or first person view or point of view videos. And from what I can see, if I had my camera here in front of me in a photo session, the Ordro EP7 would be able to see clearly what was happening in the session as well as what my camera was recording. So as I said before, this camera has 2-axis stabilization. I'm not sure exactly what this stabilization is like, so I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to walk around a little bit. I'm pretty sure that if I turn my head from one side to another, it's not going to be very well stabilized, but in theory, if I move up and down when I'm walking, that should be more stabilized. So let's give it a try and see how it is. I'm looking to see how much bounce there is in the upwards and downwards movements. Okay, so while I'm moving at a normal speed, let's also check out the car registrations which we can see in front of us. Can we read them okay? And can we see signs that are in shops? Can we read what's there? Let's have a look over here. Let's take a look here at this rubbish skip and see if we can read there as well. And I'm just going to do a quick walk up the street. I'm not walking too fast, I'm not walking too slow, and let's see what the stabilization is like if I don't move my head too much. So this time I'm going to go a little bit faster. I'm going to start a short jog and see how this is bouncing up and down. I think it is bouncing because I can see the camera itself moving. The important thing to remember is that this is not an action cam, this is a first person view camera, and therefore, well, obviously the stabilization is not going to be the same. What I want to see in these tests is whether or not, if there's not a lot of head movement, if this camera can be used for behind the scenes videos. So another thing that I'm interested in knowing is how this camera handles different exposures. So I'm going to move my head slowly around because I found an area where there's some shade and then where there's some sun coming in at the last minute here in the evening. And let's see how the camera actually handles these different exposures, and if they are really strong exposures, and if those different exposures are very obvious. So when I get back to the studio, we'll have a look and see how the camera is holding up in shade and then in direct sun, and whether or not those exposure jumps are too much or whether they are acceptable. I think I've managed to tighten up the headband so it doesn't bounce so much. So let's see now how this is looking and whether or not the stabilization is better. I'm pretty sure that the camera itself is bouncing less, and I'm sure that I could find a way of making it bounce even less. Okay, so I'm giving this a test now, and I'm riding into direct sunlight on my bicycle. Let's see how that's handling that. As you can hear, there's wind hitting the microphone and also cars about. Okay, so now we're coming out of the direct sunlight. Let's see how that's handling that shade. The wind is stronger here, so I imagine we're going to hear a lot more distortion on the microphone. So let's turn up here and see how this is. We're coming out of the shade now, and we're going to be going into the direct sunlight now. As you can hear, my chain is rattling and I haven't, there we go. Let's go around here and see what it's like. Let's see how smooth it is. Obviously I'm not moving my head up and down, but I'm going to give it a try now. So I'm going up and down. I think if there is movement, it's not from the camera itself, it's from the headband. So we're going to continue along here and see again this wind hitting the microphone. I'm just speaking at a normal volume. Tell me what you think. Is it looking smooth? Is it very jittery? How does it look when I have to turn my head? So again, we've got wind resistance, we've got wind distortion. Wind is hitting me right in front. And let's see what the video quality is like, which is the most important part. Again, coming into direct sunlight and again into the shade. So how is it handling those changes in exposure? Okay, so I'm out in the street now. I've tried to get away from the wind, but there is still some. There's a lot of noise around, there's cars around, and what I want to do is just to be able to hear the sound that this internal microphone picks up, and I'll be using the audio clip in its original version with no increase in volume and also with no other audio editing or noise reduction. Now this camera also offers the possibility of taking time-lapse videos and also slow motion videos. I'm not going to do a time-lapse video here, but let's take some slow motion footage. Well, there you go. You decide for yourself on the quality of this 4K footage at 30 frames per second. Remember, what you're seeing doesn't only depend on the video quality of this camera and the resolution of the YouTube upload, it also depends on your YouTube viewer resolution. If you go into settings, you can choose a higher resolution. Normally you'll find that YouTube defaults to automatic. So please let me know what you think about the video quality and the footage taken and the audio from this Ordro EP7. Leave it in the comment section down below. Now let's talk about the pros of this little camera. There are some areas where it really shines. It's truly hands-free POV filming, letting you focus on what matters. Your hands are completely free. It shoots 4K at 60 frames per second and 30 frames per second, as well as other resolutions, as well as offering slow motion and time lapse to be able to get creative. Another strong point is the app control, which makes it super convenient to adjust your settings and to grab images. It's lightweight and comfortable, and I imagine that I could wear this for an hour or more and it really wouldn't bother me. It's splash resistant and it can record whilst being charged. Perfect for extended shoots or field work. It's got a solid battery for its size, plus it has flexible storage. However, not everything's perfect. First of all, it's not fully waterproof. IP65 means splash proof, but it certainly means not taking it for a swim with you. It does have 2-axis stabilization, but only 2. And a 3rd axis would be great to be able to keep that footage ultra smooth, because as you'll see in some of the footage, I had to adjust the headband to allow it to be at this level so that it wasn't seeing my glasses. And by extending it further as I walk, I can see the camera bouncing a little bit. So basically there are 2 options. Either make the headband smaller so that it just sits on your ear, but it may show your glasses if you wear glasses, so you're going to need to crop that out, or open the headband further so that it comes further out and put up with that bouncing when you're walking. And yes, okay, the battery life is excellent. However, you cannot swap this battery out. It's an internal battery and you can't swap it out. And as I said before, the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi connection does tend to drop out sometimes. The other thing is, this is not an ultra wide angle. This is 90 degrees, which in my case is possibly better, because if this were, for example, 120 degrees, then I would see more of my glasses in the footage. And the final pro that I can think of is that it doesn't have an external mic input. So you'll need to use the onboard mic if this is the only camera you're going to be using. If you're using 2 cameras, all you need to do is sync the clips and then use the audio, which is best on one or the other camera. So, who is the Ordro EP7 for? If you're a creator who teaches, demonstrates, cooks, repairs, or vlogs where you want your actual view captured and without distortion, the EP7 is a good option. But if you're looking for ultra-wide action shots, deep water durability, or battery swap, then a traditional action camera could be the better option for you. The Ordro EP7 is certainly much more comfortable than having a GoPro or an Osmo Action 4 or 5 stuck to your head. It's comfortable, capable, and pretty clever. So if you have any experience with a head-mounted camera, or if you have any questions about this video and about the characteristics of the Ordro EP7, please leave them in the comment section down below. And if this video helped you, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. And while you're at it, ring on that notification bell to be notified every time a new video drops on my channel, so that you can watch my latest photography and gear videos. You'll find affiliate links to the Ordro EP7 and other gear used in the making of this video in the description section down below. If you do purchase something through one of my affiliate links, thank you for supporting the channel. The price to you will be the same, and I will receive a small commission, which will help me to continue creating content for you here on my channel. So until the next time, this is Andy at Photech Video signing off. Take care and be safe.